Hey guys, welcome back. My name's Beth Shields, and I am a real estate agent and a real estate coach. So today I'm going to start with just a topic that's on everybody's mind. I think the NAR settlement is front and center in our minds and in our lives. There are a lot of changes being implemented right now. And I know anybody who's in the business has lots of thoughts, concerns, and opinions on all of these changes. And my goal is really to help you to be able to navigate this and feel supported and open conversation. So I've already brought up and talked about what this will look like as a buyer's agent. Today, I think it's super important for us to kind of understand what listing agents will be presented with and how to navigate that. And really, I'm only going to talk about three things that I think will affect our industry and each other as agents. But I also want to, bring up and have food for thought that this is going to be affecting many different areas, and a lot of them we don't even know yet. The first one that that really has kind of just become front and center to me is now we are no longer able to advertise our compensation for buyers agents, and we're no longer allowed to call it a commission. So our compensation for buyers agents, and that is going to mean far more work for us as agents, right? As listing agents. Before, we could just happily stick it in our MLS, advertise it there, and everybody kind of knew what the co-broke offer was. And it just kind of made the system a little bit easier. So now with these changes in place, we now know that we're no longer allowed to advertise it in our MLS. We are given the opportunity that we can advertise it on our own websites. NAR has a whole list of different locations where you are allowed to advertise your compensation for buyer's agents. One of the biggest parts that this change is going to affect is how we respond to other agents now. Before, I very rarely got phone calls from buyer's agents, and I cannot even begin to explain to you how many times I have had offers submitted to me as a listing agent, and a buyer's agent never even contacted me. It blows my mind. I think it's imperative that the communication between both agents, a buyer's agent and a listing agent, is open and fluid, and it just creates a much better working relationship. And now we will begin starting to have those conversations at the very beginning of the relationship. My recommendation is that, or at least what I will be doing, is I will have my own personal website, and it will have a landing page that will have the information for every single listing I have. And if my sellers are giving the authorization to advertise what the buyer's agent compensation will be, I will advertise it there. If my sellers state that they would not like to advertise that, or they have a reason that they don't want it advertised, then at that point it won't be on my website. I find that that will be very beneficial for a lot of other agents as we kind of navigate through these changes, for us to be able to understand where to find the information and where to go to. I also think it's super important that we answer our phones. I know that seems simple and easy, but I cannot tell you how many times I call other agents. I've called them about their listings, or I have called for referrals to refer a client out of state, and an agent doesn't answer their phone. And then, to make it even worse, they don't reply to my voicemail, and they don't respond to a text message. It will be imperative as a listing agent that you are working for your seller now, and you are responding to voicemails, text messages, and phone calls in a timely manner, so that buyers agents can be educating their buyers on what potential compensation will be provided. It's imperative that we are responding to buyers agents as we kind of all navigate these changes. The second thing I think that is super important that we as listing agents need to do is we need to begin having even more open and clear conversations with our sellers. And that is going to be in regards to the compensation that they may or may not offer. It's important that we are setting the expectations and helping coach and guide them through why it could be in their best interest to offer compensation, or why it may not be in their best interest, or why it would be a benefit to advertise what we're offering as a compensation, or why it might not be in their best interest. All of these things are items that I feel like is super important. Again, why we're the listing agent, why we're working for our sellers, why we're in front of them and being their agents. It's imperative that we're having these conversations and answering their questions because they're hearing a lot. It is everywhere. I have had more conversations with people that aren't in our industry just saying, oh, well, now I don't have to pay. I said, well, you never had to pay actually, but let's have a conversation about it. And then I open up the lines of communication about what these changes are, how they're affecting the industry, why or why not it could be in their best interest to offer compensation to a buyer's agent. It's super important that we are having those conversations in addition to all the other duties that we have as their agent. It's important we do not forget that it is also our job to help set expectations and clear guidelines of why a buyer's agent should or should not be compensated and what they bring to the table. Which brings me kind of my third point. I think the biggest thing that has been on my mind this week, and the reason that I really wanted to do this YouTube video, it really has to do with our relationships with each other. I think it's super interesting to watch as a lot of agents are literally leaving the industry. They have just decided that this industry is changing too much. It's pretty difficult. The market is changing. As we've talked about in the past, low hanging fruit is no longer there. You have to work really hard to make it in this business. I also think that as we're navigating these changes, I've talked about this before, it's really easy to feel like you are alone and navigating all of this by yourself. And one of the things that I really like to try to create is a community where we feel supported and we feel like we can navigate these changes. One of the biggest things that I will be doing as a listing agent, the majority of my business, I would say probably 70 to 75% of my business are listings. And I feel like I would like to make sure that I am really setting an expectation for my sellers as to what a buyer's agent will bring to the table. Why I feel when I work as a buyer's agent that I certainly earn my compensation. Why I am worthy of being paid whatever percentage it is, whether that's by a buyer or whether that's by a seller through some sort of concession or compensation. Why I, as a buyer's agent, am worthy of what I'm working for. So to summarize today, I really want to make sure that we all understand how important it is. Communication, answer your phones, respond to text messages. I think you get it. It's super important that we support each other. It's imperative while we navigate this that we're taking care of one another so we can all survive and we can make it through this and be successful agents. There's plenty of business for all of us. I think it's super important that we continue to support each other and continue to advocate for each other as agents, especially as things, just navigating through this is going to be a little bit difficult for a while. I really appreciate you joining me today. If you have any questions, please feel free to comment below or feel free to shoot me a message. I'd love to talk with you more. If you are interested in discovering more about coaching with me, please take a look in the comments below. And again, I would love to have you like and subscribe and share this with anybody else who might benefit. Have a great day.